So, Jono, it's been a rude awakening to this league for the first three games. Looking ahead to Saturday, what are your expectations or what you're thinking, should I say, ahead?
Putting the last three games behind us, back at home on Saturday, so always different feel when you play at home, for us especially. We look forward to that. I think reflecting on the last, not really the 𝗬𝗂𝘀𝗀𝗀 game, I thought we performed really well. I thought it was a really good game. And actually in the last two games that we've lost, there were some really good moments, which we were really happy with. I do this all the time with you, but I don't try not to talk in cliches or waffle. But there were some really good moments. You have to look for positives when you've had a couple of tough games, and there were some. But we can't sit here, or I can't sit here and pretend that we knew it was going to be an easy start to the season. You know, it's been a real eye opener the last 5 days. So being away at 𝗬𝗀 in Chester, not just from a football point of view, but also the size of the football clubs that we've come up against. They've almost felt like events for a few of the lads. You know, you come into the stadium, you look about. Over them 2 games, we played over nearly 4,500 people in the space of 5 days. It's a big step up that for us. Yes, we did it last year playing your max, but doing it against clubs that have so recently been at higher levels, I think it shocked one or two people. But in terms of performance, listen, Saturday we talked about quietening the crowd. We talked about getting into half time and then blocking off the second half. Ticked off block one, and then, something always crops up in our career where you go, that's the first time that's happened. I don't think it's happened before where we've conceded 3 goals in 4.5 minutes, and I think that came from the intensity that they played at. They played on our mistakes, our doubt, and cut us open at will for them 4.5 minutes. If we take that out of it, the rest of the performance over probably the remaining 93 minutes was absolutely fine. In fact, it was good. But you don't get away with it at this level of football against quality football players. We take our medicine when we move on. Then we talked about Tuesday, knowing that Chester hadn't scored at home for the best part of 6 months. Keep the crowd quiet, especially when they were shooting away. They were into the Harry Mack in the first half, and they score after 1 minute. And I'm laughing because all the things that we've talked about over the last 2 games bit us on the backside. Then we settled in the game. We had a couple of half chances ourselves. There was a decent flow to the game, and then we don't learn from our previous mistake by overplaying from the back. That the instruction is to try and play when you can, but if you can't, then obviously you've got to do the right things. And they played that, and I thought they were set up in a manner where the half expected us to do it. That the half expected us to make the same mistakes, and they punished us for that. And that was for a good play from them, and us not learning our lessons. And what we're finding at this moment in time is that when we make a mistake, we get punished. Last season, that might not have happened. And as I said, we're going through some tough moments, and you get punished when you go through tough moments. But we've got to learn from them. You know, if you think about the goals we've conceded, they're all very similar in each game. So Tuesday night we're from crosses from either side, not stopping crosses, and not picking up runners. And against Kidderminster, we were cut open right through the middle of us, tracking runners. So all similar goals in the games that they were playing in. We've got to learn from that, and that's what we're here to do. You know, this season, as I said, you can see what I'm about, and how I talk about us. I'm really positive in terms of what we think we can do this year. But we was under no illusion how tough of a start it would be, and that's why I'll always try and voice my opinion straight after the game or the day after the game with the fans. How amazing it's been for them, but to stick with the group, stick with the boys. It's a very, very loyal football club and a town. This, and we've had some of the best days we've ever had last season. By having a poor start that doesn't define who we are, it just means we've come up against sides that are better than us. We've been punished from that. We didn't have to go through that last year. So this year we might have to suffer a little bit. And we might have to suffer a little bit more. There'll be bumps in the road, a bit of pain. But from our point of view, it's about bouncing back, being resilient, looking forward to these games that are at home, because we've had so many good days here. Even when you think back to last week against 𝗬𝗀𝘀𝗀𝗀, how good of a performance and an entertaining game it was. But from our point of view, we'll get that first win on the board. As the Needham Market, they're a newly promoted side winning their league like we did last year, pretty much at a canter, and they're after that 3 points as well. So it sets up. It's really set up for an intriguing game.
I was going to say, is it important to you, the players and remote staff, to get that first win on the board? Then you can, well, not necessarily take a breath, but you can go, right, we're not established, but we're here.
Yeah, listen, I think the big thing was getting the point on to start with. You know, if we'd have been sat on 0 points, losing 3 out of 3 like 2 or 3 sides have, it would make you a little bit more worried. We know who we are. We know what we're doing. We know where we're going. We know what to expect in this league. You know, myself and Bernard managed hundreds of games at this level of football. A lot of the players have played at this level of football hundreds of games. But we've also got an element in the group that have never been at this level before. So we're massively understanding of how tough it's going to be. So to get that first point in the first game of the season in the manner we did, brilliant. And as I always talk about, we have targets that we set throughout the season. You can make targets back up as the season goes on. We're not behind anywhere that we expect it to be. You know, you want to try and win your own game. So if you want to look at it like that, actually the home game was the negative by not winning against Scarborough. So 2 tough games that we've had, but we don't go chasing wins. We don't go chasing anything other than performing the way we try and perform and how we train tonight. That's what we're about. That's what we try and do. And if we perform to our maximum, generally you'll get the result. And that's what we're trying to do on Saturday.
In training itself, obviously, just briefly mentioned it there. What have you seen from the players in terms of a reaction from Tuesday night?
We didn't need a reaction from Tuesday, mate. We just do what we always do in training, and that's having a high intensity. That's what the lads bring. And we went through a similar run last season around Christmas, and then we bounced back. But nothing changes. There's no panic. You know, this, as I said, this is something that's been going on we've been doing a long time. There's 3 outcomes in football: win, draw, and lose. That's it. You can't win them all. You're not going to lose them all. You can't draw them all. So you've got to be prepared and set, and not be mad asses and throw your toys at the pram when you lose a couple of games. That you learn that from experience. That you've got to suffer sometimes. But in terms of the lads, they're fantastic. But so was the training session on Thursday night before I went to Kiddie. It was a brilliant, lively session, and we lost. So the training session, yeah, you want to be at it. But as good as you've been in training doesn't define what you're going to do on a Saturday. So we're not looking for reactions. We got beat by a better side on Tuesday night. Be under no illusions, they're better than us. On that night, they were better than us. Against Kidderminster, they were better than us. All right, you can nail it down to a mad 4.5 minutes against Kiddie. But overall, they were better. And on Tuesday night against Chester, especially out of possession, I thought they were fantastic. You know, they lured us into a false insecurity in terms of the traps that they set, especially in and around our box. So we've got to be cuter than that. We've got to realise it. From their point of view, they've mastered their plan. From our point of view, we didn't. And you come away with no points. On Saturday, we need to adapt and master the plan again. And hopefully it'll be us that come away with the 3 points. It is really that simple.
Next point I'm going to make is a matter of players coming back. It got to be mentioned before. Obviously, we saw Lois get his first minutes on Tuesday night. How close are the likes of Nicky Adams, Ollie Thornley to being back in?
Well, yeah, the answer is I'm not 100% sure. We obviously had to throw Lois in the squad on Tuesday night, and just because of the way they were going, the game was going, we put him on. You wouldn't have done that last week. He was in the hospital. Obviously, from the predicament we found ourselves in with the amount of players out of the squad, needs must. But he's trained tonight. He's raring to go. We picked up 1 or 2 injuries on Tuesday night, 1 or 2 knocks. So who haven't trained tonight, we don't know if they'll be available for Saturday. But in terms of Nicky, Ollie, Banj, Modi, they definitely won't be playing. They won't be involved. So I don't want to give time frames, and everyone's going, well, you said they'll be back next week, and they're not. So we just go with it. You know, it's another thing that we've had to suffer over the last, as you well know, over the last few weeks with injuries. But the squad's still strong. We're still happy with what we've got. We put out there. It's just the personnel that you can't change in terms of rotating that you might want to do. Hopefully, a matter of weeks as opposed to anything longer. But I think I've been saying that for the last couple of months now.
And last but not least, the fans, obviously, they've been coming in numbers from start since you arrived. Any words for them?
Loads of words for them, because to travel to Kidderminster the way I loved it. I actually loved it. I thought it was so disrespectful from an element of their support last Saturday when they were singing. Is that all you take away? I know it's banter. I get it, football banter, but I think sometimes it's the small understanding of where smaller football clubs come from and how they're building a fan base. And the fact that we had them there in a segregation area, and they were between 50 and 60 there from us. it's absolutely amazing. People might find that funny, these bigger football clubs, but we're at the same level for a reason. No matter how many fans you get, we're at the same league, and we're a football club growing. And what I tried to impress them in the interview last Saturday was, as a football club, we know where we're going. Be under no illusions. This isn't a short-term thing. Whether we lose a few games or not doesn't define what we're going to be doing. This football club's going one way and one way only. With or without these players, and without me and Bernard in the future, it's going in one direction. And we're playing a small part in that. So to see the support base growing, we're local fellas. We saw the days of 50 and 60 watching home games not too long ago. We now take that 3-4 hours away. And then another close to 200, 160, 170 at Chester on Tuesday. And the support they gave us and the way they stayed behind us at the end, that tells us they understand what we're trying to do when they stay behind you like that. So it's building. It'll keep getting bigger. It's absolutely fantastic. And you just hope that, I hope that they just understand the part they play, and it's what the boys talk about. But from our point of view, we'll keep doing what we're doing. And hopefully on Saturday we'll give another entertaining game.